Welcome back, everyone. We're back on the 22 GMC Yukon, about 30,000 miles. And again, I'm not an attorney. Cannot provide you legal advice. If you need an attorney, you need to search one out. We do have some recommendations if it's helpful. And what we're doing now is trying to document as much of the damage that we can see after the vehicle's washed. We'll never see every piece of damage because a lot of things become evident when you take the car apart. So those will happen during the process. That's why we ask our clients to request pictures during the repair process from the repair shop so that they can see what was damaged internally and what other things they found. But this documentation will give us a platform, a starting point for when the car comes back to us after it's been repaired. We can go and look at these areas and see what type of repair was done. For instance, in the middle of this hood, and we don't determine, in most instances in this kind of situation, exactly what procedures the repair shop will do, or, for that matter, what the insurance company will pay for. But we do, when the car is done, we can do things like measure the mill thickness of the paint to make sure that it meets the factory standards, and make sure there aren't paint lines where they're not supposed to be, paint overspray where there isn't supposed to be. So we aren't going to make that determination on what they should do with this damage, and there is quite a bit of it on this hood. A lot of these panels, I would assume a quality repair shop would want to refinish a lot of them, because if you were to just buff these, and this is a challenge the customer is going to have, the insurance company is likely to push buffing the scratches off this vehicle in many places. The problem with that is when you buff, or wet sand and buff, you remove a certain amount of the mill thickness of the product that the factory, or if it's been repaired, the repair center put on the car. And it requires a minimum thickness. For instance, for the polyurethane clear, it's 2.5 mils, the minimum thickness to protect it against the UV rays. If you don't have that amount on there, and you guys may have all seen this over the years, vehicles where the clear coat is peeling and sometimes the paint is peeling. So that's a decision the repair center and the insurance company needs to make on this, is do they risk thinning out the factory finish and causing future problems, things that we can clearly help the customer with. Here's an area, so this has a P next to it. We think that might be some prior damage. There's a tiny little, there you go, right there. You can see a tiny little Audi, we call it, that was in there. And I don't believe that that was impacted, but I'm not 100% sure if the right side got into the woods as well as this left side. You'll see all these places that I've circled have very deep gouges. Some of them are light, but some are very deep. And then things like these moldings. This molding is actually damaged right there. Plus, anything that is stuck on with tape, two-sided tape, has to be replaced. Retaping that and putting it back on just means a year from now it'll fall off. Here I noted all the broken glass inside all the way to the back of the vehicle. Noted here, obviously, that the mirror is destroyed. This glass is cracked. My opinion is they need to take the door off for any paint work they do. I'll show you in a minute why. There's your scratches. I'm going to probably make this a two-part video as well. These belt moldings, they call them, across here are scratched and damaged. The door handle has some damage. The running board has some damage, and it's not my determination 100% to determine what happened during the accident. That will be, again, sadly, a little bit of a fight or argument for the owner with the insurance company. But I'm going to stop this right now and then pick it back up so the video doesn't get too long. This is part one.